So this is the fabric I use for today's tutorials. I'm making a short bubu with asoke design. They are using this shiny fabric for the sleeve. This is 2 yards of fabric. So first of all, I'm going to fold my fabric into 2 and then into 4. So this is my fabric folded. We are drafting both the front and the back together. So I'm just taking the length of the bubu, short bubu. So go ahead and mark your desired length. Mark it on the other side so that you can have a straight line. My length is 40 inches. So after marking that across, I'll take my long ruler and rule that out. So this is going to be my starting point, and then I go ahead and cut out the excess. So after cutting out the excess, I'll mark ½ inch at the top. That will serve as our guide. ½ inch at the top. So the excess of doing is to have the same allowance at the top. So this ½ inch is the same allowance at the top. So I'm going to rule that to the straight line. So all my measurement will now begin from here. So the next thing now is to mark half of the shoulder measurement. I'm going to mark half of the shoulder without adding seam allowance because this bubu is a cut together sleeve. So I'll mark half of my shoulder. I'm just trying to make sure that the fabrics are lined. So you mark half of the shoulder. And then after that, I'll also mark the neckline. To get the neckline is very easy. You just use your bust circumference divided by 12. You can also mark the neckline of your choice. So that's my neckline 3½. So this part will be for the sleeve. I'm going to use the shiny black fabric to complete it. So at the end of that sleeve, I'm going to mark 1 inch and slant it to the neckline. So this is my shoulder slant, my shoulder slope, because our shoulders are not straight. So I'll slant it to the neckline. Then I mark the same allowance on top as well. So the next thing now is to mark the shoulder to the bust, shoulder to the waist, shoulder to the hip. This is very important so that we'll be able to fix our pocket. So from the shoulder line, I'm going to mark the shoulder to the bust point, the shoulder to the waistline, and then the shoulder to the hip. So I'm going to repeat same for the other side so that I can have a straight line. So I mark shoulder to bust, shoulder to waist, shoulder to hip, and then I use my long ruler to connect that together into a straight line. So this is my bust line, my waistline, and then my hip line. So this is the bust line, waistline, and then this is the hip line. So the next is to determine the sleeve opening. For the sleeve opening, I'll just make it to end on the bust line, and then I'll add 1 inch for seam. I'll add 1 inch for seam for sewing allowance. So the sleeve opening is up to the bust line, and then I added extra 1 inch as the seam allowance. So that is the seam allowance. So on the waistline, I'll impute. So on this waistline, you can impute the hip measurement there. So first of all, I'm just going to go straight to the hip line and impute 1/4 of the hip measurement plus the ease allowance that I desire. So I'm adding 4 inches extra. Remember, it's a free Bubu. So this is according to your preference. You can add as many inches as you desire, as you want it to be free. So I'm leaving about 1.5 at the end, which I'm going to cut out. So what I have there, I'll just repeat it on the waistline, on the bust line. So whatever I have on the hip line, I just measure it, and then I mark it on the bust line. I'll also repeat it at the hem. I'll also repeat it at the hem. And then I use my long ruler to connect all that together from the hip to the hem, and then the hip to the waistline, so I'm taking 1.5 inches as my seam allowance. So I'm cutting 1.5 inches off from the side. So that we can have our curve, our armhole curve. So that I have the sleeve curve. I'm just using the French curve now to blend the armhole very well to get a perfect armhole curve. So we'll mark the neck depth. So the front neck, I'm just trying to check the fabric, the one I'm going to use for the front and then the one for the back. So this one will be for the front and then this one will be for the back. So next thing is to mark the neckline, the neck depth. So for the neck depth, I'm using 1.5 for the back. So I just connect that to the width. So for the front, I'm going to use 7 inches. And it's going to be in a V form, the V neckline. So to cut, I'm going to cut with the back first. cut both of them together using the back neckline, then cut the shoulders and then the side. So after that, I'll separate the front from the back. Separate the front pattern from the back so that we can cut the front neckline. The front neckline is a V neckline. So this is just me cutting the front neckline. So we are through with the front and the back. So I'm going to locate our pocket. Our pocket will be on the waistline, but it's going to be an outer pocket. The pocket is going to be outside of the fabric. So this one that I cut out from the beginning, from the top, I'll be using it for the pocket. All I have to do is just to join it at the middle using the part that we have the savage. So I'll just use my pin to pin that middle. I will join it together along that midline. So I'm going to stitch it together at that middle. So by the time I finish sewing, it's going to be like this. So I'm going to mark the length of my pockets. So this is what it will look like. So the pocket length will be 11 inches. So I'm just marking the length of the pocket. So I'll mark it, so I'll cut it and then use it to cut the second pocket. So that is it for our pocket. And then I'm going to use this leftover to cut the facing for the back neckline. I'm going to join it at this point I'm pinning. So I'll just place the back pattern on it and just trace out the neckline. So this piece will serve as the back facing. So I'll just cut it out. So the back facing is complete. You can give it a nice shape. You can give it a curvy shape. So this is how it will be on it. I'm just trying to measure the width. The width can be around 2 inches or 2.5. So just trim off the excess. So we'll cut the one for the sleeve after joining the shoulders together. We are going to be using this black shiny fabric for the sleeve. So we are through with our pattern. Just quickly go over the aso-oke neckline. So we're going to work on the front pattern. The front neck design, we are using aso-oke for it. I'm going to use this paper, this piece of brown paper, to illustrate how I'm going to mark to create the design. So first of all, I'll mark the V neckline. So the length of this can be up to the waist. So after that, for the neckline, after marking the V for the shoulder, I'll just mark 1.5 inches wide. Then from the down, I'll go up like 3 inches. I'll mark it, and then from the one on the shoulder, I'll just mark my 1.5, 1.5, and then I'm going to use my ruler. For the down part, I've already marked 3 inches up. I will just slant that like a V. And then for this other part, and then for this other part, I just connect it. Then I'll use my curve ruler. You can use your free hand or use your curve ruler to create the curve. Mind you, this is according to your preference. You can always draw your design the way you like. I'm using this width because of the width of the aso-oke I am working with. Aso-oke on fold is about 5 inches. So I'm just cutting this out so that we can see the shape that I have created. So this is just a sample. I'm going to be doing this on the aso-oke, so it's going to be bigger on the aso-oke, but this is just for you to see how I created it. So this is what it's going to look like when you are done. You see, you have like a V. So I'm going to use this to create on the aso-oke pattern of turn it with facing. I don't want any seam to show you, so I'm going to use hemming glue when I'm through to stick it to this part. Then this is the front pattern. So this is the aso-oke I'm using for the front neckline. I already join it and then iron it flat. So fold it into 2 like this. Then place the front pattern on it and then cut out the neckline. So remember, we are going to have it like this. This is the front. It's going to be on it like this, so we are going to stitch it from the other side. Okay, but before we complete that, we just put the shape, this shape. By the time we are through, this one will be 2 inches. Right now we have 3 inches. So let me show you how I'm going to do achieve the shape. Fold it like this. Then now from the down, mark 3 inches, 3 or 4 inches. Let me see what I have from here. Okay, this is 10. And then I'll slant it to the side. So just freestyle, just take your shape. This is even another style. So you just be creative with your style. So this is what I want. So I'm going to use iron to fold in the edges. Okay, so this is okay for me. So from the wrong side, but before I place it on this, I'll just go and use iron to fold in these edges. I'll fold it down and iron it. I'll fold here, here, and iron it. Then after that, I'll place it on the wrong side. Like this. Then I'll sew the V neckline. Then flip it to the right side. Okay. So I'll quickly do that and show you. So this is what the front line look like after sewing the aso-oke. I've added fringes. I'm going to be adding buttons at the middle, 3 buttons. But I later removed 2 of the fringes on the side and just left the middle. Then I'm going to be joining it at the shoulders. After which I'm going to open up the sleeve like this and measure what I have so that I can cut out the black fabric that is supposed to be there. It's going to be 1.5 inches wide. So that means I'll cut 3 inches. I'll cut 4, half inch to fold in at the edge. So if I cut 4, fold into 2, that will give you 2 inches. By the time you fold this, and fold it into 2. and fold in the edge. So I'll first of all fold like this and iron it, then also fold this side as so and iron it. After we shall place it from the wrong side and make it like this. And we'll just place it like this, sew it 1/2 inch from the wrong side to the end. Then after that, we'll now put this other side over it. So use iron to fold this side so that it will be on it like this. So that's what we're going to do both sides. And then for the pockets, you sew from the wrong side like this. So like this. Then you now flip it this way. Then flip here inside with 1/2 inch. That's how we're going to sew the pockets. So once you are through with that, we'll join the side. That's after sewing the sleeve. And put them together like this, right side facing each other. And then we sew with our same allowance. We do same for the other side. Then we fold it down twice. Then we bring the front out. The pocket is going to be an outer pocket. So you measure where the waistline will be. 18, which is here. So we're going to fix it such that half of it will be here, the other half will be on the other side. So it's going to lay, you open it like this. Assuming you have joined the side already. So the pocket will be outside like this. So you now stitch down like this. Of course, we'll fold the down part in with 1/2 inch. So we sew here like this, like this, like this, and that will be all. I'll show you the final look when I wear it. This is Joydala Fashion Guide. So here is the final look of our short bubu with outer side pockets and aso-oke neck design. Please like my videos, share my videos, subscribe to my channel. This is Joydala Fashion Guide.